Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up those football guys. Wake up here, guys. Wake up. Wake up. There we go. They're awake. Man, I'm going to have some fun today. I'm going to have a little bit of fun today. I know our season is over. Literally, if the Washington football team does not lose all three games and we win all three, we got no chance of making the playoffs. That's just the way it is. And, I'm okay with that. I have made peace with that. I know that next year we will get our quarterback back, the best quarterback in the NFC East, and we will be a better team, provided that Jerry Jones just doesn't do something stupid. On the other side of the fence, the Eagles have announced that Jalen Hurts will end up starting his second week in a row. And it's my premise that the Eagles have literally destroyed Carson Wentz. And it's kind of amazing because we used to have, just even a few months ago, the debate of Carson Wentz being this elite quarterback who could do things that Dak Prescott couldn't do. There was a great debate and stuff, even though he'd had the injuries and things like that. Dak Prescott had more touchdowns total, and they say, oh, well, you can't count the run ones. Or you listen to guys like Colin Cowherd that say, you can't count the rookie year. You got to throw that out, And they used to call him Dink and Dunk and everything else, and that Carson Wentz elevated people around him. And then when things started going south, they kind of started going through and saying, look at the weapons Dak Prescott has versus what Carson Wentz had. If anybody was in there with the Dallas Cowboys, they would be doing great things because of the great personnel that's around there. So we've had this debate and this discussion. But Carson Wentz, and this is not me trying to throw shade, but I'm putting out there the real facts. The real facts are, since 2017, Carson Wentz has gone downhill. Carson Wentz has gotten worse. He's regressed. Carson Wentz can't hold on to the football. I don't know if that's because he's been sacked so much. Last year he got sacked 37 times. This year already 50 times. You don't know if the injuries between the knee and the back have actually made it more difficult for him. But something is amiss. And I look at this and I think about his psyche that had to be hurt because here it is, you're drafted in the first round. This is your team. You started playing really, really well. You get injured, and then another guy comes in and takes your team where it has never gone before. That they turn around and they build a statue to Nick Foles and Doug Peterson. This is supposed to be your team, your glory. You come back the next year, you're 5-6, and here we go again. Nick Foles comes through again and gets the team on a roll and into the playoffs. In fact, you got people in the locker room that look at you and say, dude, you're not the guy. And then we get all of the talking heads that constantly pump him up. Okay, so when the team's not performing, they look and they say, it's the guys around him. He doesn't have the offensive line. He doesn't have weapons. Look at Dak. He's got all these weapons. Well, we've seen that having weapons does not be the be-all, end-all for you if you can't have a guy who can get them the ball. And back to these weapons of Dak Prescott. My man Sam Acho talks about, he had Dez Bryant. Well, Dez Bryant, his heyday ended in 2014. 2015 was an injured year. 2016, he had a hard time staying on the field. And the numbers that Dez Bryant put up, you're not talking about Hall of Fame numbers with Dak Prescott. They weren't. And when you start thinking about Amari Cooper, the silent assassin, he was kind of given up on in Oakland. They looked at him and said, we fleeced the Cowboys for a guy that's checked out. CeeDee Lamb, I'll give you the pedigree there. But you've seen a difference of CeeDee Lamb with Dak Prescott versus everybody else. In fact, you see the Dallas Cowboys. Here's an interesting statistic for all you guys out there talking about the quarterback. Dak Prescott played in 4 3/4 of a game. Dak Prescott still has more yards than all the other quarterbacks that have played this season. All of the games. Dak still has more passing yards than all of them combined. Michael Gallup, was, I believe, the 12th drafted wide receiver in the NFL. This wasn't Julio Jones that the Cowboys drafted. And his play has been elevated by the circumstances of the quarterback and along with the other people around him. So when we hear that, Carson Wentz had lawn furniture, that game he played against us, yeah, I can give you that. He had no names, but they still only scored 17 points. They got the win, more of our ineptitude than anything else. So let's go ahead and go through comparing apples to apples. You had Carson Wentz, who everybody says doesn't have the weapons. The offensive line's a mess. The team stinks. And here's the numbers of Carson Wentz on average this season. 16 TDs with 3.7% touchdown percentage. Okay. 3.7. 15 interceptions, which equals out to 3.4 interception percentage. It's not real good. Average 6 yards per completion. And a rating of 72. And you could look at it and say, well, the Eagles are a mess. Jason Peters and Lane Johnson and all these guys are in and out of the lineup. And they've had such, so many players that have been in. Rhaegar has been, not everything that was advertised and so on. Zach Ertz is not the guy he used to be. It's just not the same mixture. But here's an interesting thing. Let's take Hurts in his game with the same players. Right off the bat, completion percentage, he's about 1% below in completion percentage. Carson Wentz completes more passes. I'll give you that one. But in every other category, Carson Wentz QBR has been 72 on the season. Hurts yesterday against a New Orleans top-rated defense, one of the best in the NFL, was an 82. His touchdown percentage, 4.4, almost a full percentage higher than Carson Wentz. That's every time you pass the football, the percentage of chances that it'll be a touchdown, higher. And on the flip side, throwing interceptions, he only has a 2.2% as opposed to Carson Wentz's 3.4. These are kind of amazing, and his yard average is almost a yard further than Carson Wentz. And throw into that mix, he doesn't fumble the football. And in fact, he's actually able to use his legs. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, the Eagles, and this is why Doug Peterson said, well, I'm going to continue with Hurts as the quarterback. The Eagles are a better team with other people other than Carson Wentz as the starter. I don't know why. I think that the Eagles have definitely screwed his confidence, and I don't think that you can go back to him at any point right now, because when you look at the thumbnail on here, you can definitely see some eyes being cut every which way. And I think the only thing you can do now is you're going to have to move Carson Wentz. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This well is definitely fouled. And the players that have been here since the Super Bowl, they've been down this road before. They've seen where Nick Foles came in and played well and gets benched for Carson Wentz twice. And if the same thing happens, you're looking at a mutiny between the players. The reality is Carson Wentz was never as good as people made him out to be. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not saying he's an awful quarterback. And I think confidence is lacking between the eyes right now, and that is the biggest problem for Carson Wentz. And I think the only way that has a chance to get better is elsewhere. So, Eagles, enjoy your victory. I don't know what you're going to do with Carson Wentz. That contract makes it very, very hard to move him. There may be teams like the Colts that have worked with him before with Frank Wright. In fact, you could look at it from the point of Frank Wright leaving, that Carson Wentz went downhill. Maybe Frank Wright thinks he can turn him around. That may be the case. And they'll give him a flyer on it. Otherwise, I think he's done in Philadelphia. All right, y'all. I hope you guys tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, for our live stream. We'll be here talking about everything that is the Dallas Cowboys. We expect to see the Eagle Trolls back. And if you're a tailgate member, make sure you hit the join button and email Michael Holmes your address. We got a little something for you for Christmas presents. For what?
Let them know to make sure to check first if they got email from stamps.com.
Right. If you're a tailgate member and you got an email from stamps.com, you don't need to do it. But I think we're missing about 10 of you guys' address. So hit the join button and you'll get the email from Michael Anthony to go ahead and email us your address again. So that way we can get you our little Christmas thing to you. All right. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.